Hi there, here is Shaman from Shamanic Woman.
Shaman Hawk here from Shamanic Lodge.
And we thought to make a video because we just got back from Facebook Live and you people gave us a lot of very good questions and we thought to expand those answers a little bit. So the first question was, and like one of the question was, can you get from a bad health condition to 100% being healthy? Would you like to?
Sure. The quick answer is absolutely. I've seen it done. I've been part of it. I've had it done myself. I've helped other people get to that point. And then we're talking from terminal cancer where the doctor said a couple of months to live. One AIDS patient I worked with, a couple of weeks to live, and lived another 10 years, at least that I know of, past that. Myself, I've been a couple of times where I had to relearn to walk or had some serious trauma happen to my body and I healed myself from that. Even though the doctor said I wouldn't walk anymore and I needed serious surgery, and I said no. So it can be done. Now I know it for a fact. We were talking earlier about a sweat lodge she was part of where a woman had internal bleeding for like 10 years. Doctors couldn't do anything. Sweat lodge, that was in Romania, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And a bunch of people who'd never been to a sweat lodge before were part of that ceremony, and we worked on her first before we started the regular sweat lodge ceremony. A couple weeks later I get a notice back that the bleeding had stopped and she's feeling great. She also had a bunch of tumors and she thought she was going to have a complete hysterectomy. Working with her again, that went away. Can I explain exactly how? No, I cannot do that. I have a lot of theories and ideas, but I don't know what the absolute truth on that is, other than the fact that the body is capable of healing itself. It remembers how it's supposed to work in perfect order with nature. So yeah, it can be done, absolutely.
Yes, I also experienced in the last couple of years of work in shamanism. Mostly I worked with women, and I would say that most of them had problems with their femininity and like health issues in their breast or in their womb, and I could see some beautiful how you call that? Recovery, right? Yeah. Healing on those areas. So yeah, it's really possible to get healthy, 100% healthy. The next question is, what are the instruments a shaman works with?
That for me?
That really depends on.
You going for that? Go for it.
Yeah, okay, so in traditional shamanism we can see like shamans working with sweat lodges or drums or rattles or voice. They can use their voice. But also nowadays, I would say that anything what brings people back to their alignment or their true nature, that can be dance, that can be singing, that can be swimming, any kind of activity can be good for them, or they can work through.
Yeah, I mean, basically the list of what we can use is almost endless. Yes. It's really the application. Probably one of the best instruments we use is our ears. It's important to really deeply listen to the person you're working with. They'll tell you what's wrong with them exactly by what they say directly. And if you listen closely between the words, they'll tell you almost exactly what they need and how they need it. And then you just build the stage for the healing to take place, or the metamorphosis, whatever they need. So almost... Beware, we'll use anything as an instrument.
Yeah, this is why also when people are asking us that what we are doing during an appointment, it's for us it's very hard to say that from the beginning. We can just give a couple examples, but we really flow with people, and we because each people is very unique. Like each people can have or can get different application or technique during the appointment.
So we'll surprise you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the next question, how do we choose a shaman or a shamanic healer on our path?
My first recommendation would be to get a recommendation from someone you trust. Either they went to that person and it worked for them, they know somebody that they trust, and they went to that person and whatever helped them for whatever situation they were in. But that would be the first thing. You know, somebody you know, somebody you trust, you know, tells you a personal experience. Probably the last thing that I'd go with is just, you know, social media, because you can have great, wonderful recommendations, but you really don't know if it's true or just their friends boosting for advertising or whatever. So good or bad, you can't really trust what you read on the net or anything else. Again, instinct. You were talking earlier, you said that you really kind of went to a place or workshop or something just to see how you felt about the person. You know, you just felt to go there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a great example of the intuition part.
But mostly when we get into this, on this path, I would say, like from personal experience, that we really get the feeling or the instinct, right? The intuition will lead us where we need to go, or what shaman or shamanic healer we need to choose. So really trust your feeling on this.
That's a real good way that she put that. You know, you put it out there that you're looking for somebody authentic and real, and then you follow the flow that gets you there.
Yeah.
And remember that you can always, if you're in front of the person, working with the person, or getting ready for the ceremony or whatever application, if at the last minute you change your mind, that's okay. Because I tell people the same thing before sweat lodges or anything else. If you don't want to be there, you change your mind at the last minute, that's okay with me. I admire you for sticking up for yourself and trusting your intuition. You know, maybe it could be an astrological thing. Just that one day, even though you've done 10 sweat lodges, that one day doesn't feel right, and you find out with your astrology that was not the day for you for whatever reason. Hey, great, you trusted your instinct and it worked. Cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
In this area also, I would say that, for example, by talking in or saying into your prayers, or if you are talking to nature, for example, in my case, 3 years ago, I just said one time that I'm really ready and willing to move forward in my life and to make big progress, and then I met Hawk. So it's really about what we are saying out in the universe, and that can really work for us and showing for us the way to that point. Okay, the next question, what is our opinion on ayahuasca? About ayahuasca, I don't have an experience, a personal experience, but on my path, I met a lot of people, both with good and bad experiences, but I heard some really unpleasant experiences, and I would say that it's really important to look for the history of the person who is leading that ceremony, and also here also like really trust your feeling if it's really that ceremony is for you or not, because we are seeing that this got into a trend, and like people are trying to use this shortcut. They think that this spiritual growth can be done through the night, but it's really not like this. So really look out for what ceremony or what teacher you are or leader you are using for helping you through this ceremony.
You know, I look at the the schematic about how a lot of these ceremonies are set up. One stranger, all right, let's say comes to town, and a bunch of other strangers meet at somebody's house to do a Schedule 1 hallucinogen. All right, would you do that for any other drug? Now you can go to the argument of like, oh, it's not a drug, it's a teacher plant, blah, blah. Okay. You know, and heroin and opium come from poppies, yay. The fact is, it is a drug, and that's one of the benefits about it, because it can give you a completely different perspective. However, if you haven't done your serious internal work with your own personal issues, deprogramming, getting to really know who you truly are in your center, it can be an absolute nightmare. And I'm still working with people who had bad journeys up to 6 years ago. I've taken people through this ceremony. You know, I've done it myself. I used to get it from the plant myself in southeast Florida in a little area called Davie. Sometimes the plant would say no for whatever reason. If we want to say that, oh, Mother Aya and the goddess within and blah blah, if it's a relationship, like any relationship, you can want to do something with someone and they can say no. If you're not respecting that decision, then you're not respecting the relationship, and that's where a lot of this stuff just falls apart. And that's when you know the people that are allegedly the shaman doing this, it's a scam, because you know they're pushing for the money, they're pushing for whatever. If you go to another country to do this, you went to another country to do a Schedule 1 hallucinogen, you had a bad experience. I'm sure the authorities have a lot of questions for you as you're in the hospital or whatever. And if you happen to disappear, oh, where'd they go? Oh, he went down to do drugs in the jungle. It's you got to look at the whole picture with this. And this is something, again, with the healers, you know, especially with something like this, and even sweat lodges, you know, you have to have somebody with a good reputation that people know and people trust. You know, it's something like this. It is a life. It can be a life and death situation. I don't want to be fear mongering and pushing it, but you know, unfortunately these days the bad experiences outweigh the good ones, and the bad effects last a lot longer. So it's new ground, you know. Just be careful with it.
Yeah. And the next question is, which are those repetitive problems specific to each areas where we go? I would say there is a general problem everywhere we go, like here in Romania, in Hungary, in Germany, or in the States. Like we meet people who are not happy with their life, who are unfortunately depressed or burned out, or we hear unfortunately a lot of cases of and more cases of suicide. So it's I would say that these are the main problems with which people are dealing with nowadays.
And I would say that these common problems actually are in the industrialized countries. You know, what's supposed to be first world countries, you know, have these first world problems that all revolve around some kind of fear, guilt, shame, and depression and self-destruction. These are things you really don't live. It's like they're non-existent in the primitive cultures. You know, now who's really advanced now, right?
Yeah. And there is one more question.
What?
Why to choose shamanism as a way? Because people can choose so many ways. And here I was thinking that there is no real answer to this, because from personal experience, shamanism or the flow is choosing you to walk this path, and if you are allowing yourself and flowing with I would say the signs, because for example at the beginning of my path I got a lot of signs, or through my intuition I was guided that where to go or with who to work, or just getting along, you say?
You can say getting along
Getting
the path.
along the path, yeah. So it's really about that the shamanism is choosing you. You just allow to trust your intuition and your feelings.
Yep, I can
To
say
walk
about
on
the same
it.
thing. You know, shamanism chose me. They're like, come here, you. You know, but and I still flow with it. You know, it won't let me go. So it's a wonderful life. If you want to get into it, it's a bit of a transition process. But yeah, you know, I've done many different things for paid occupations. You know, but I like my shamanic life the best.
Yeah, and the last one, the very last, is some kind of bibliography, if we can recommend, or a must-read list.
Oh, yeah, people were wanting me to recommend books. People that write books want to sell books. And people who can be great writers, that doesn't mean they're great spiritual leaders or shamans. The best shamanic practitioners and shamans are out doing the work. You know, not too much time you have to write a book. And plus, when you look at the back of these books, it's going to have an area called sources, or where they got the material for a lot of the books. A lot of countries, legally, you have to do that. Well, another way of saying that is, I use this person's stuff in my book. So if she wrote a book on shamanism and I want to write one because this is the trend that sells, I read her book and go, oh, I like this, I'm gonna put that in my book, you know, and then I put her name in the back as a source, you know, and poof, now I have a shamanic book. So if real shamans that I knew wrote books, I would recommend those books, you know, because I could say, yeah, this person's talking from experience. One of the things you will read in these shamanic books is almost all the same stuff, just written a little different way. Real shamanism doesn't work that way. She would write a completely different book than I would, completely different stories, because she's unique in what she does. The people who come to see her are going to be completely different than the ones that come to see me. All right, just here, you're going to see such a huge difference in reading material, which can be used as lessons for your own development, so on like that. Add a third and fourth person down the line, like, no, between 5 people, you could have almost have your own library of experiences. So no, and I think the other part of that question, the girl is like, is it better to go out with your own, explore the universe and get your own kind
That
of...
was another question.
Yeah, another question, okay.
That's okay.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
Go out and explore life. Really test yourself out in the world. Check out your own experiences. Don't get arrested by the police, or you'll be hearing that sound. You know. But, okay, so
Yeah.
we're gonna be doing more.
Like.
Do more. Yeah, that's shamanic ebonics. We're gonna be doing more videos on live on Facebook because you guys seem to like that. Really appreciate the questions. And as always, if you like this, give a thumbs up. Subscribe to Shamanic Lodge, Shamanic Woman on YouTube, and we'll keep you updated on all the cool latest stuff in shamanism.
And by the way, all these questions, and by keeping the connection with you, is really helping us to see where we can help you, or where people's minds are, and yeah, it's really good in our development too, in our growth too.
Yeah, so we really appreciate your feedback.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
See ya.
Catch you guys in a little. Bye bye.